Hi, my name is Zach Ellsworth. I'm with SkyScapers LLC. Today I'm going to show you how to do a nice pot for Mother's Day. So these are all the things you're going to need to complete pots of your own. You're going to need some annuals. You're going to need the pots. These are about 8 inches, I would say. You're going to need a digging implement. I prefer the Hori Hori digging knife. You're going to need scissors of some kind to cut through bags and to remove any spent blossoms that you see as you're planting. You're going to need a watering can for the end to give everything a good soaking. You're going to need some potting soil. And when I plant plants inside, I like to use this bin here, just a regular plastic bin, and I'll set my pot inside, and that way it'll catch any of the dirt that falls out the sides. It's less to clean up at the end. All right, let's get to it. So I've gone ahead and filled my pot full of potting soil. And before I get to the flowers that I've chosen, I just want to briefly mention that when you're using container garden of any kind, you want to use potting soil. And the reason for that is it's specially formulated to retain moisture. With a column of dirt like this, rather than being right in the ground, it tends to dry out faster. So this will help retain moisture and help your plants look their best throughout the season. So get potting soil mix, not topsoil, not specially formulated for any other type of plant, just regular potting soil. That works great. All right, now let's get on to the flowers that I've selected for my design. And I'm going to show you 2 different designs. One's going to be by me, and one's going to be by my lovely assistant, Amanda. So we'll start with these. Right here are violas. It's a type of pansy, and they smell great. And also I just like the various colors that they have in them. It goes from the purple on the outside all the way to a nice yellow in the middle. And I just thought it looks kind of like nice and springy. So I thought that'd be a good one for this one. Moving on to what's going to be in the center of my design. This one is a type of salvia. This particular variety is Lighthouse Red. So it's going to go right here in the center. It's going to be kind of the focal point, kind of drawing your eye into the container as you're passing it. And we're going to plant everything else around this center point. So there's that. Moving on to my other variety of pansy. This particular one is Delta Blotched Mix. And it's just a variety of kind of lighter to a dark, almost burgundy. Also going mostly with the cool colors, but then a little pop of color for the centerpiece. And we also have marigolds, which we're kind of gonna intersperse all around the pot, just to have something to kind of break up the monotony of the cooler colors, something else to draw your eye. So these particular marigolds are Safari Bolero. And all these different plants are annuals. None of them are gonna come back year after year. That's one thing about container gardening, is you pretty much just have to pick annuals because they're going to freeze solid in the winter time if you leave them outside. You can bring them in and have some success, but with the lower light, it might not work as well. So something to keep in mind. And then for the part that's going to trail over the side, this is going to be the spill, as it's known. I have an alyssum assortment, and this is the Easter bonnet mix. So I have my cool colors right here and my warmer colors over here, and I'm going to show you how I put them all together. So we're going to start with the centerpiece, and no matter if this is pushed up against a wall or if it's in the middle of a table, wherever you have it, it's usually going to look better if you have your center focal point, known as the thriller, in the center of your pot. So you don't want to offset it. It just ends up looking weird. One of the nice things about doing container gardening is because you're using new fluffy soil, it's pretty easy to dig in. You can use a digging implement if you like. I prefer the Hori Hori. So basically acts just like a trowel. Dig it on in there. But since this is such a small pot and the dirt is so loose to begin with, we're just going to dig by hand. So I'm going to tip it over. And when you see a plant like this that has roots all the way around, that's what's known as root bound. And you want to break that up just a little bit, just kind of gently unwind it, rough it up a little bit in places, And what that's going to do is encourage the roots, instead of kind of staying compact and just winding round and round the center of the plant and eventually maybe even choking it to death. It's going to encourage those roots instead to move outwards and spread out and seek out moisture and nutrients in new places. And you're going to have a healthier looking plant in the long term. So you just want to unwind those roots just a little bit. This is pretty root bound, which is good. It means he's growing pretty fast, and he'll probably continue to grow pretty fast. Now this particular plant, although it's not too much bigger at this point than say the marigolds, it's going to get a lot bigger. The eventual height's going to be between 2 feet and 2.5 feet. So it's going to be about that tall by the end of it. So it's going to be quite the focal point by the end of the season. Just keep on working out some of those roots. You don't have to worry if some of the roots break, that's okay. It'll regrow. And even loosening this up also kind of stimulates the roots to start growing again. It's going to go and put its energy into rebuilding itself and repairing. All right, so we're just going to kind of snug it down in there and gently push the soil around. You don't need to pat it down too hard. In fact, that's actually worse because you're squeezing out the air pockets. Another aspect of potting soil is that it has parts in it that kind of keep the soil loose and open, and that helps with the airflow. Actually, roots need both water and airflow to be healthy. All right, so I'm going to kind of turn it around from all angles, make a little adjustment here and there. I just want to make sure it's right in the center. And what I'm also doing is I'm looking for what's going to be the face of it. So the part that when you look at it straight on, it's really going to catch your eye. So I think this looks pretty good from this angle here. I'm going to turn around and show you. Right on like that. So on this backside here, there's a lot more foliage than flowers, and that's going to change over the season too. Don't worry about that. And if you see a drooping bloom like that, don't worry, just take it off. In fact, that's going to encourage the plant to produce more blossoms. It's what's known as deadheading. And if you see a broken bloom, that bloom is not going to last too much longer, even if it looks good now. So there's no problem in just tearing it out. All right, so this is the thriller. We're going to move on to the filler, and that's the part that just kind of covers the soil, kind of makes it a flower bed rather than just a random assortment of flowers. And I think I'm going to start with my tallest variety first and work my way down. So these marigolds are going to get to be about 10 inches. So about a little bit taller than the middle pieces right now. So they're going to fill in pretty nicely over the course of the season. These are just in these little 4-packs. You just pop one out. And these ones are not as root bound, so I'm just going to rough it up just a very little bit. And then I'm going to turn this back towards me so that I can kind of plan it around the way that it's facing now. And I got 4 of them, so I'm going to put it pretty much at the 4 corners, 4 cardinal directions of the planter. And the nice thing about these little planters is you really get a lot of value for your money. Like they start out pretty small, like this is, a 1-inch plug, 2 inches in that direction. But by the end of the season, these things are going to be big, and they only cost, under $3 at most garden centers. So you really get a lot of bang for your buck, especially if you're willing to wait just a little bit. But even right now, this is already starting to look pretty full. So I think I'm going to use the red one on this side because I want to make sure that the different colored one is visible from the front. So we'll put him on over there. And then this last one, I think I might offset it just a little bit just so that it can be visible from the front a little more. So instead of putting it, right opposite the one that's in front, I'm going to probably put it right like there. That looks pretty good. All right, and that's all you got to do for your first package of flowers, and it's just going to go from there. I think next I'm going to go with these ones, these pansies. And you'll notice that 2 of these have blossoms on them already, and 2 of them don't yet. But you can see, it's going to be hard to see from this distance, but there's already buds coming out. And it doesn't take them that long to go from flower bud to flower blossom. And over the course of the season, week to week, you'll be pulling off dead ones and, new ones will be emerging. So don't worry if not every single one of your 4-pack looks good. The important part is the plant itself looks healthy, because that's going to be the most productive, over the course of the season. You'll have the most blossoms. Rough it up just like the other ones. But since this one is not yet in bloom, I'm going to put it on the back side. Just for now. Just to give them, some time and space to get acclimated. And then towards the front, what's going to end up being the front, I'm going to put the ones that are in bloom right now, just so we have something to look at right away. And these pansies too, even though they start out as a small plant, like this small plug, they'll probably get 2 to 3 times as full and large over the course of the season. So they're really going to be packed like cheek to cheek with the other plants by the time that the season's over. And I'll give you updates as the season goes on, show you how things are progressing. And then I'll put this white one. I thought this one was kind of a cool color variation rather than being all one color. It's got this variation where so you have the dark center and the white outer part. So it's just a nice little contrast. It's going to be quite the packed pot by the time we're done with it, and that's okay. So we're going to end up with these. I think maybe I'm only going to use 2 of these for this one. Maybe I'll have to find another pot for the other, because I want to make sure to have room for the spill. We're still on the fill part. We're filling in all the dirt space. You'll see a lot of bees out early, the early bees of this time of year. They're going to love these. And that's one thing that kind of offsets the fact that you're buying a plant that's going to end up dying at the end of the season and not coming back the next year. Well, it's alive. It's going to look great on your patio. And at the same time, it's going to support bees. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Where should we put our last one? I think I'm going to put it right back in between these marigolds. All right, so as you can see, it's getting pretty full in the front. That's a lot of color coming at you all at once. But we still have more to put in there. So this part, the alyssum, is what I'm going to use for my spill. And so we have our thrill that's upright, that catches the eye. We have our fill, which covers the dirt and is the lower, height plants. And then we have the spill that's going to kind of trail over the sides. And alyssum is really great. Not only does it attract bees, it's got a great scent, but it attracts what's called hoverflies. If you've ever seen those, they look like tiny little bees and they just kind of hover over plants. Those are great because they will eat insects that eat your plants, but they won't eat your plants. They're just predators for ones that like to take a bite out of your nice looking flowers. And they will attract them like no other plant. I've never seen a plant that attracts them like this. This and alyssum and yarrow are 2 of the best ones. Anything with tiny little flowers, that's great for hoverflies. And as you're packing these in here, it's important to make sure you kind of push the soil around each side of it. You want to get as much contact between root and dirt or soil as possible. That's going to help the roots grow. That's going to help it not form any awkward air pockets that might hinder growth. All right, well this is looking pretty good, pretty full. And it's only going to get more full and more beautiful as the season goes on. That's another aspect of annuals, is perennials, they tend to have a season. And a perennial is a plant that comes back every year. It doesn't die and leave seed. An annual is a plant that puts out a whole bunch of seed, and then the plant itself dies, and its children are the ones that come up next year. But the thing about perennials is they have seasons. So they may bloom for a week or a month or whatever, but then they're basically done for that year. Annuals, because they're trying to churn out that seed as much as possible, they're just going to keep shooting up bloom after bloom all season long. We want stuff that's going to keep on blooming, keep on renewing itself. So you get the most out of your dollar, the most out of your plants, and it's the least work overall. So I think we're pretty much done with this pot. So let's see. This is going to be the side that I face forward. This got a nice kind of tiered effect, and it's going to go all the way from the thriller to the filler to the spiller. So just Gonna give you a whole 360-degree look at it. So take a look at what we've done. Lots of different colors mixed in. It's not so busy that you can't tell one thing from another, but it's not so monotonous that everything just blends together either. And a nice variety of textures, a nice variety of shapes, and there you have it. That's our first Mother's Day design. I think my mom's gonna like it a lot. It's a bunch of her favorite flowers that I picked out. So now I'm gonna turn you over to my fiance Amanda, and she's gonna show us what she's come up for her Mother's Day flower pot design. See you in a bit.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm going to show you another Mother's Day pot. This plant here is going to be my thrill. It is a salvia in velocity blue. So this is going to be my center. For additional fill, petunia. This is the Pretty Grand Midnight. I also have another petunia here, and this is called Carpet True Blue. And then these are my absolute favorite. It's called a dichondria, and it has this really lovely minty color, and the leaves are like silvery, and it spreads, and once they get bigger and fuller, it just has this really like soft, like velvety texture, and they are just like fantastic to look at and fantastic to the touch. 10 out of 10. You should definitely get some for your planters. So here's our finished product of our purple planter for spring. So we have our thrill in the middle, and our petunia fill, and then my lovely spill, the silver dichondra. I'm telling you, they're so great. Look really nice with purple, they're like any color.
So we hope you've enjoyed this video and you have some good inspiration to go out and do this sort of thing yourself.
If you're not feeling so motivated or you want a little help with your projects, be sure to check out SkyScapers on Facebook, and we'll have the link at the end of this video.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.